There are people in love who respond to tenderness with tenderness, to loyalty with loyalty, to longing with a warm hand reaching back. And then there are those rare, complicated souls who do not come closer when you chase them. They come closer when you disappear. Not because they are heartless, not because they never cared, but because some zodiac signs are built with a strange emotional mechanism. The more you beg, explain, plead, text, forgive, and wait, the less they feel the value of your presence. They may even love you deeply, but love alone does not always make a person brave. Some people need silence to understand what your voice meant. They need absence to recognize your warmth. They need to lose access to you before they realize they were living on the comfort of your devotion. These 5 zodiac signs are not always easy to love because they can confuse patience with availability. They may test your limits without saying they are testing you. They may pull away right when the relationship becomes real, disappear when emotions get intense, or act cold after creating the deepest connection. And if you panic, if you start proving yourself, if you begin asking, "What did I do wrong?" they may step even further back. But here is the secret. They often return when you finally stop waiting by the window, when you stop checking your phone, when you stop writing messages you delete before sending, when your heart no longer jumps at every notification, when you stop living as if their silence is the final judge of your worth. That is when something inside them wakes up. Suddenly, they remember your laugh. They reread old messages. They notice your absence in places where your love used to be. They realize that the door they thought would always stay open is no longer glowing in the dark. But this horoscope is not about revenge. It is not about playing games. It is about understanding emotional dynamics. Because begging for love almost never brings love back in its healthiest form. It teaches the other person that your boundaries can be negotiated. It makes you smaller in the eyes of someone who may already be afraid of real intimacy. The signs on this list can be unforgettable lovers. They can be loyal, magnetic, intelligent, protective, sensual, mysterious, and emotionally powerful. But they can also be frustrating, proud, avoidant, stubborn, or addicted to the chase. If you love one of them, you must remember one thing. Do not kneel where you should stand tall. Sometimes the only way to make someone feel your value is to stop explaining it. 1. Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign that can love with terrifying depth and still act as if nothing is happening. They can look into your soul, remember the smallest detail about your pain, touch your hand like they are making a promise, and then vanish into silence as if they never opened that door. Loving a Scorpio can feel like standing in front of a locked room where you know there is fire inside, but they refuse to give you the key. The dangerous thing about Scorpio is that they often test love by watching what you do when they withdraw. They may not admit this, but part of them wants to see whether you will fight for them, whether you will panic, whether you will expose your weakness. If they have been hurt before, they may confuse your begging with proof of devotion. But over time, begging does not make them respect the relationship more. It makes them feel too powerful. Scorpio comes back when they sense that you are no longer emotionally trapped. When you stop asking why they changed, when you stop sending long paragraphs, when you stop performing loyalty for someone who already knows you cared, that is when their obsession begins to turn inward. They start wondering who has your attention now. They remember how intensely you love them and realize they may have underestimated the quiet dignity behind your softness. A Scorpio who returns may not come with simple words. They may appear indirectly, liking something, asking a casual question, making it seem accidental. But there's nothing accidental about Scorpio when feelings are involved. They return because they cannot stand emotional unfinished business. Praise them for their depth, their loyalty, their rare ability to love beyond the surface. But be honest about their shadow. Scorpio can punish people with silence, hide behind pride, and make love feel like a battlefield. If you love them, never beg. Stand still, stay mysterious, and let them feel the weight of your absence. Scorpio respects emotional strength more than emotional pleading. 2. Aquarius. Aquarius is one of the hardest signs to chase because the moment love feels too demanding, they may mentally step outside the room. They can adore you, admire you, laugh with you for hours, share their strange dreams and private thoughts, and then suddenly become distant, distracted, untouchable. You may wonder, did I imagine the connection? No, with Aquarius, the connection was real. Their fear of emotional pressure is also real. This sign often comes back only when you stop waiting because Aquarius is allergic to being emotionally cornered. The more you ask for reassurance, the more they may feel trapped. The more you demand answers, the more they disappear into logic, work, friends, projects, silence, or their own private universe. They do not always understand that their distance hurts. Sometimes they think they are simply taking space, while you are lying awake wondering why love suddenly became cold. Aquarius does not respond well to desperation, but they are deeply affected by freedom. When you stop chasing, they finally have enough space to hear their own feelings. When you no longer orbit around them, they notice the empty sky. They may tell themselves they are fine, but then one song, one memory, one unexpected reminder of your kindness can break through their emotional defenses. The strange truth is that Aquarius often returns when they believe the choice is truly theirs. They may come back with a message that sounds like, "Hey, how have you been?" But behind that small question may be weeks of thinking, missing, analyzing, resisting, and finally surrendering to curiosity. Aquarius can be brilliant in love. They can be your best friend, your weirdest adventure, your late-night conversation that changes the way you see the world. But they can also be emotionally evasive, detached, and too proud of needing nobody. Do not beg them to feel. Do not chase them into their silence. Become alive again without them. Aquarius is most drawn to the person who still has a world of their own. 3. Capricorn. Capricorn may not seem like the kind of sign that returns dramatically, but do not be fooled. Capricorn remembers everything. They remember who stood beside them when they were building themselves. They remember who believed in them when they were tired. They remember who loved them before they had the words to appreciate it. But Capricorn is also one of the most stubborn signs in love, and if they decide to bury their feelings under pride, work, responsibility, or self-control, they can seem colder than winter stone. Never beg for love from Capricorn because they respect dignity. This does not mean they want someone cold or unavailable. They simply lose emotional balance when someone gives too much too quickly, especially if they already feel unsure. If you chase them, they may become practical, distant, even cruelly calm. They may tell themselves, "This is too emotional," or "I need to focus on my life," while secretly storing every piece of affection you gave them like a letter in a locked drawer. Capricorn often comes back late, not always loudly, not always romantically at first. They may return after they have achieved something, after life has humbled them, after another relationship failed to give them the loyalty they once took for granted. They come back when they realize that love is not just chemistry. It is consistency. It is trust. It is the person who knew their difficult parts and still stayed gentle. But here is the painful part. Capricorn can take too long. They may understand your value only after you have already healed. They may return with maturity, but also with regret. They may say, "I should have treated you better," and actually mean it. Capricorn's remorse can be quiet, but it is heavy. Praise Capricorn for their strength, ambition, loyalty, and ability to build a future. But be critical enough to see their flaw. They can make love wait behind career, pride, fear, and control. If you love a Capricorn, do not collapse at their feet. Let them see that you are not a convenience. You are a person with standards, a heart, and a life. Capricorn comes back when they realize you are not asking for too much, you are offering something rare. 4. Gemini. Gemini is the sign that can make love feel like electricity. One conversation with them can wake up parts of you that had been sleeping for years. They know how to flirt without seeming obvious, how to disappear without explaining, how to return with one funny message that makes you forget you were angry. Loving Gemini can feel like chasing a butterfly through a storm, beautiful, fascinating, impossible to hold. Never beg for love from Gemini because begging gives them too much movement to react to. If you send 5 messages, they may answer none. If you ask for clarity, they may become even more confusing. If you try to force seriousness too soon, they can turn playful, sarcastic, distracted, or suddenly unavailable. Not because they never cared, but because Gemini often struggles when emotions become too heavy and too predictable. Gemini comes back when the silence becomes louder than the conversation. When you stop entertaining them. When you stop being the person who is always available to listen, forgive, laugh, and understand. At first, they may pretend not to notice. Gemini is excellent at distracting themselves. They can fill their days with people, plans, jokes, work, messages, and noise. But eventually, they feel the missing rhythm. They remember how your mind met theirs. They remember the way you understood their contradictions without trying to cage them. A Gemini who returns may do it casually. They may send a meme, ask a random question, or act as if no time has passed. But behind that lightness, there may be genuine longing. They are often afraid of emotional intensity, so they return through humor before they return through honesty. Praise Gemini for their charm, intelligence, curiosity, and ability to make love feel young again. But be honest about their shadow. They can be inconsistent, restless, and emotionally evasive. They may love the feeling of being wanted more than the responsibility of being chosen. If you love Gemini, do not chase their changing moods. Become interesting to yourself again. Gemini comes back when they realize your energy is no longer waiting backstage for their next performance. 5. Leo. Leo is not usually silent because they feel nothing. Leo is silent because their pride is louder than their pain. This sign can love grandly, fiercely, beautifully. They can make you feel adored, protected, chosen, and seen. But when something wounds their ego, when they feel rejected, criticized, ignored, or emotionally exposed, Leo may pull away with royal dignity and pretend they are perfectly fine. Never beg for love from Leo, because Leo must respect the person they love. They may enjoy attention, yes, but deep down they do not want someone who crawls toward them. They want someone whose love feels valuable. If you beg too much, Leo may start believing they hold all the power. And when Leo holds too much power in love, they may become dramatic, demanding, or careless with your devotion. But when you stop waiting, everything changes. Leo begins to notice the absence of admiration. They miss the way you looked at them. They miss the warmth you gave without applause. They miss being loved by someone who saw not only their shining side, but also the scared, tired, vulnerable person behind. The confidence. Leo can attract attention easily, but true emotional loyalty is rare, and they know it. A Leo who comes back may return with a dramatic gesture, a heartfelt confession, or a sudden attempt to reclaim your attention. They may act confident, but inside they are asking, "Do I still matter to you?" Leo's pride may delay their apology, but their heart often remembers deeply. Praise Leo for their generosity, passion, courage, and unforgettable romantic fire. But be critical enough to see the truth. Leo can make love revolve around their feelings and forget that your heart needs care too. They may expect loyalty while giving mixed signals. They may want to be missed, but not always admit they miss you first. If you love Leo, do not beg for the spotlight in their life. Step back, shine on your own. Leo comes back when they realize you are not just another admirer, you are the one person whose love made them feel truly alive. The 5 zodiac signs that often come back only when you stop waiting are Scorpio, Aquarius, Capricorn, Gemini, Leo. But the deeper lesson is not about forcing them to return. It is about returning to yourself, because when you beg for love, you begin to bargain with your own dignity. You start explaining your worth to someone who already had enough evidence. You shrink your needs, soften your pain, excuse their silence, and call it patience. But real love should not require you to disappear inside someone else's confusion. Scorpio may return when they feel your mystery again. Aquarius may return when they sense your freedom. Capricorn may return when they understand your loyalty was rare. Gemini may return when they miss your mind. Leo may return when they realize your love was not ordinary attention, but something royal, deep, and irreplaceable. Still, when they come back, do not forget what their absence taught you. Listen to their words, but watch their actions. A return is not always a transformation. Sometimes it is nostalgia. Sometimes it is loneliness. Sometimes it is ego. But sometimes, beautifully, it is growth. So never beg. Never chase someone until you lose yourself. Never confuse silence with destiny. The person meant for you may need time, but they will not need your humiliation. And if one of these signs returns when you finally stop waiting, let them meet the new version of you. Calmer, wiser, harder to fool, softer in the right places, and no longer afraid to walk away from love that does not know how to hold you.